Santa Monica is one of the affluent sides of the Los Angeles counties, with beautiful tides, a wide range of attractions, and expansive real estate. And it's a pioneer in creating mass wealth with high-end restaurants, endless commercial sites, and so much more. However, there is an unspoken side of Santa Monica, which originally was predominantly Black. And I'm here to describe of the areas that have been forgotten, specifically the Pico neighborhood. Hello everyone, my name is Cam Rivera, and I'm here to introduce you to the Pico area of Santa Monica, also known as the pinnacle spot for low-income communities. Back in the early 1900s, this area was actually heavily populated with Black people, Hispanic people, and the minorities were actually white people, but the white people lived a little bit more in the northern side of Santa Monica. So I'm over here on 11th and Pico, and on your right side you can see that it's a lot of apartments. Immediately on your left you see a lot of businesses, but also you see more housing, more independent homes. That liquor store has obviously been there for a while. I actually remember it because my cousin lives around here. So I kind of saw the gentrification process of Pico neighborhood stretches from Lincoln to Olympic to South Centinela to Pico Boulevard. And everything within is the Pico neighborhood. So this is the Pico. That's the same liquor store right there. And all right, making a U-turn. You can see that. Obviously it's been gentrified. There's a little bit of more resources available that weren't there before. Also because of technology innovation, but right here, look on your right side, you can see some apartments. There's actually parking permits around here for people, so you can tell that it's getting a little bit more exclusive. So if you're not from around here, you're gonna need a permit in order to actually stay and park here overnight. Many Pico residents have ancestors that have lived there ever since the 1900s, and they built the land and the homes with an original investment of $10,000. These homes are now valued to be in the millions, and according to a recent interview, a lady sold her land for $1.7 million. And it's a very fortunate and unfortunate thing because this incentivizes for the Black community of Santa Monica to leave. Now you can see up there, that looks like a very old built home. I actually did some research. These homes have been here since, I would say, the early 1923. They were built, they started getting more built by the 1940s and 50s during the Great Depression. The research that I did suggests that this area has an average income of $65,000, and which does not seem pretty bad because, there's people that make more, there's people that make less, but the average income for this place is actually relatively really low, considering that the neighboring neighborhoods are make on average over 100,000, or top $500,000 millionaires. But you can see, like, these homes, there's an apartment. A quick fun fact, according to Niche, the average median income within the Pico neighborhood is $65,000. Meanwhile, right across from Pico, the median income skyrockets into $135,000. Meanwhile, 85% of people within Pico are renters. Outside, the majority are homeowners. Right here, it looks like they did some renovations on the right side. It's pretty interesting that I actually chose this neighborhood. I grew up around here visiting my cousin, and I remember how it was generally more Hispanics and blacks, a little bit of whites than right now. Right now there's a lot more whites. You can see the houses here look very old. It looked like they've been here for a while. Of course, with the exception of some houses that have been renovated through time. There's a place offering for rent. The rent here is extremely expensive. Even though it's a average low income area, it is still pretty expensive. You can see the apartments here. Looks like it's been retouched. That looks like an old house over there. It feels really uncomfortable because if you're not from around here, they're gonna sense that you're not from around here. And it looks pretty obvious that I'm filming, but I want to be precautious. I don't want to provoke anything at all. Even though it's not a dangerous neighborhood necessarily, especially since I'm in a prison, I'm just cruising around. Another roundabout. It's very greenish, very nice. Right here, I'm approaching Euclid in Michigan, and a little bit about this place. My cousin lives around here. So this place was actually known for pretty strong violence because right here, we're gonna get to it. There's an alley, and I would remember this was around 2008, 2008 through 2012. I would always remember there's always these gang members, specifically black people, and actually some white rivals too, that would just kind of like say, hey, I'm in control here. Make a U-turn. But some places here have been remodeled completely to like on your right side, it's like completely gentrified area. There's a lot of good looking cars. Old apartments, old homes here. There's places offered for rent. Old cars. I've been cruising around the Santa Monica area for a while just to get a good grasp of what the communities are that's outside of Pico, and I can definitely tell you that this area is fairly condensed with more apartments. You see a person riding their bikes. Now I'm gonna approach this alley. Ooh, that's a nice car, M3. Cousin lives somewhere around here. He doesn't live here anymore, but my uncle still does, so. And I can tell you right now, these apartments on the left side were not here. And it looks very residential, very, how do you say, gentrified. On the right side, you can tell that these buildings are pretty old. And I know the neighbors here are Hispanics. Some black people here too. On the left side, it looks like they tear down a business. I forgot what business it was, but they're making, from the looks of it, more apartments and a lot of renovations here. You can see that it's a lot of gates, private property on the right. The Pico neighborhood of Santa Monica.